Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. It's been a little while since I've uploaded a video on the channel. I apologize. I've been really busy with a lot of things, and so it's been hard for me to find time to make videos for you guys, but I'm gonna try to do better and try to carve out some time for you guys to make some good videos. With that being said, today I'm gonna show you guys what's gonna be in my bag for this 2023 season. The bag has changed a whole lot since my last in the bag, but if you want to see my last in the bag, I'll link it up there for you guys to check out. But I've been experimenting with a lot of different discs this winter, trying to find what I like and try to put together a bag I feel really confident with for this season. And I think I've settled on a pretty good lineup of discs, and I can't wait to show you guys. For my bag, I'm using the Grip AX5. I've been using this for a long time now, and it's been holding up really great, and I highly recommend it to anybody out there. For my putting putters, I'm using D-Blend Alpacas. These are a very, very similar mold to the P2 that I have been using for a long time, but I wasn't a really big fan of that Discmania D-line plastic that they came out with. But this D-Blend, I really like the feel of. It's more what I'm looking for, a little bit stiffer, a little bit more durable. For my throwing putters, first up we have this 2020 Macbeth Luna. I like to put her on a little hyzer, and it'll pop up to flat and ride really straight with a lot of glide. I also love it for those turnover shots, and a shot I've really been liking for this is putting just a lot of hyzer on it with a lot of height, and having it really work to the left but stay in the air for a long time. So yeah, Z-Swirl Luna. Last in my throwing putters, I've got two zones. First, I've got this ESP zone. It's a little bit on the straighter side for a zone, so I can put a lot of power behind this, and it definitely won't turn over, but it'll really hold straight for a long time and then have that consistent finish. And then this is just a complement to that. It's a 2022 Z Glow zone, and this thing is very overstable. I really prefer it for my sidearm approach shots and little windy approach shots. This is probably my go-to one, but if I want a little bit more distance, I'll go to this one. Moving on to my mid-ranges. First up, I've got this Z Meteor, which is more like crystal. It's like completely see-through. This thing is really straight to understable. I like to use this for hyzer flips and really straight wood shots, as well as some turnovers. This thing really holds whatever angle you put it on. I really like the way the Meteor feels, and it's been flying really good for me, so yeah, Z Meteor. Next, I carry two ESP buzzes. The first one is this ESP buzz, which is my really straight buzz. It just flies like a buzz, you know, it just goes really straight, holds pretty much any angle you put it on. It has a little bit of finish to it, but yeah, really consistent, and it's really flat too. And then a complement to that one is this double stamp Macbeth buzz. It's a little bit more domey, and it's got kind of a little bit of a shoulder to it that I really like the feel of. But it's very overstable for a buzz, and I've had this for a long time and really beat it in, and it really hasn't lost that overstability somehow. But yeah, this is probably my go-to buzz. I use it all the time, and it's been doing really great things for me. For my overstable mid-range, I've got this Z Metallic Buzz OS. I got in a Ledgestone mystery box, and you guys can check out that video up there. But this thing is board flat. It feels so great for a sidearm. It kind of just feels like a faster zone. It's very overstable, but still's got a lot of that glide that I'm looking for. I used to bag a Z-Scroll drone, and I really didn't like the feel of the drone, and it didn't have that glide I was looking for when it comes to an overstable mid-range. But this thing has really got a lot of glide, and so I can throw it flat, and it will slowly glide to the left. It doesn't turn over, and this thing's really consistent, and I've been liking it a lot. Next up are my fairway drivers, which probably take up the majority of my bag. Starting with my most understable, I've got a Big Z Heat. I use this for rollers and little hyzer touch flip shots. I don't really pull this out a lot, but I do pull it out every now and then, so I'm glad to have this in my bag. Next up is a disc I've really been liking. It's the Castoplast K1 Cax Z. I'd never really thrown any Castoplast at all, but this really felt really good in my hand. It's kind of in between a mid-range and a fairway. I throw this all the time in the woods when I'm really wanting something that will go really straight or have a little bit of turn to it. I can really work this on a lot of different angles, but yeah, I've really been liking this. Next up, I've got a Discraft ESP Undertaker. I've had this for a long time now and still maintained a little bit of stability. This thing kind of just will have a little bit of turn and then fade out at the end. I haven't been using this a whole lot, but some shots I feel more confident throwing this than I do the Cax or one of my T-Birds. So this definitely does get some use, but yeah, the Discraft Undertaker. Next up is a disc that's pretty new to my bag. Definitely not a new disc though. I carry two Avery Jenkins Star T-Birds. This yellow one here is my more overstable one. It's actually super overstable, even though it's really beat up. It flies closer to my Raptors. I can really trust this with a lot of power, and I know it's just gonna hold straight and then fade out. It's really domey, but yeah, it feels great in the hand. It's got a lot of glide. Complement to that one is this white one, which is much straighter. I can throw this flat and it'll get a lot of turn out of it and then fade out. Definitely not super understable, but I can really put this on a lot of different angles. and I just really love the way the T-Bird feels in my hand, and yeah, I've really been liking these. Next, I carry two Raptors. First is this Z Raptor. This thing's got a lot of dome to it. This might be my most used disc. I can throw this flat and it'll flip up, go really straight, and then fade out. I use it on a lot of sidearms. This thing's got a ton of glide, and I can work it on all sorts of different angles. I use this so much, and I'm really glad I have it. And this disc hopefully will stay in the bag for a long time. And then a complement to that is this Z Glow Raptor. This thing is board flat, and I prefer it a little more for that sidearm feel. It's got a lot more fade to it, but it's definitely not super overstable, so it will hold straight for a long time, and I can work this on a lot of different angles as well. But this is mainly my forehand Raptor, as well as some headwind backhand shots. My last fairway driver is going to be this Champion Firebird. This thing is an absolute beefcake. I've had it for a long time. I've got it super beat up. Never ever thinks about flipping. It's so overstable. So I've been using this for a lot of headwind forehand shots or flex forehands, a lot of backhands or spike Hyzers or things that I need consistency, and I need it to get to the ground fast. This thing is definitely a really great disc to have. Moving on to my distance drivers, I have one ESP Onyx. I've kind of been on and off with this disc, but I do definitely like it for the glide it's got and for that stability. This is kind of more my control driver. It's kind of in between my fairways and my drivers. I probably use it more like a fairway, but I like the way it feels, and it has a lot of glide, and so I'll use this for kind of shots that I need a little bit more distance than my fairway can give me, but I definitely don't want to overthrow it, so Onyx comes in handy. Next, I've got a Z Surge SS. This is my understable driver. I really like the way the Surge SS feels. I use this on some Hyzer flip forehands, as well as some big turnover backhands. I've really been liking this disc, and I think I'm going to be using it more and more. Next up are my Wraiths. I carry 3 Wraiths right now. Starting off is this pre-flight number Star Wraith. This thing is super beat up, it's super flippy. I use this for rollers as well as some big Hyzer flip backhands. I don't pull this out a whole lot, but I definitely do in some situations pull this out, and I'm glad to have it. Next, we have my Champion Wraith. This is probably my workhorse. This is my most used distance driver by far. I use this for pretty much everything. I can put it with a lot of power flat and trust it's not going to turn over. It's just going to hold straight with a little bit of turn and have that consistent fade. I also like to use this for forehands, but yeah, this is very consistent. I know exactly how this flies. Super consistent, super reliable, and so I pull this out on the course all the time. And then a complement to that is this Halo Wraith. This thing is a little bit more overstable than that. It's also got a little bit more glide. So if I want a lot of distance, I like to put this on a little bit of Hyzer, and it will kind of hold that for a long time and get that push and glide that I'm looking for. I throw this almost equally to that other Wraith, but yeah, I love this one. Next up is a disc I've really been loving. We've got the Halo S-Blend Emperor. This has basically replaced my Destroyer. As sad as that is, after I lost my favorite Destroyer, I really haven't found anything that replaced it, so I've dropped Destroyers completely. But this Halo Emperor has just been so good for me. It's got a lot of dome to it, so much glide, and it's got that perfect amount of turn I'm looking for. So this is kind of my max distance bomber. I love the way it feels. I've been throwing it a lot for forehands. This has really been a workhorse for me, and I'm so glad to have this for the 2023 season. Next up, I've got 2 Discraft Forces. First up is this ESP Force. This is a little bit on the gummy side for ESP. This thing is really straight, but still got that consistent fade. I prefer this to forehands over this one, being as it's not as overstable. But I can get a lot of distance off of this. It's got a lot of glide, but yeah, I've really been liking this force. And then a complement to that is this other ESP Force. It's a much stiffer, and it's got a little bit more dome to it. It's a lot more overstable, so when it gets a little windy, I always pull this out knowing that it's never gonna turn over, it's just gonna stay true. So this has really been coming in handy. Lastly, I've got a Gold Line Latitude 64 Ballista Pro. I can throw this flat on about 80% power, and I know I'm just gonna get that 400 feet almost every time. Just really consistent, easy distance, and I love to work this on some different angles. It's got like that perfect amount of dome I love, and it feels perfect for a forehand, so I've really been liking this Ballista Pro, and I think I'm gonna be using this a lot. Lastly, I've got a disc I've really been experimenting with. I'm not really sure if I like it yet. This is the Halo Boss. This thing is just really fast and really overstable, but I really like the way it feels. It's similar in feels to that Ballista Pro, but it's just got a little bit deeper of a rim, which I really like, and I really feel like I can get a really good hold on it, being as it is a 13 speed. So I've really been liking this, and I'm interested to see if as it beats in, if this will become a little bit of a better disc for me, but right now I'm just still experimenting with this, but this might come in and out of the bag throughout the season, but I have been liking it so far. Lastly, I want to announce that I'm going to be on team Hyzers Disc Golf for 2023. Hyzers Disc Golf is a local shop in Fayetteville, Tennessee. If you guys want to support me, you guys can go over to hyzers.com and use code Hicks at checkout and you'll get 10% off your order. If you guys have any disc recommendations, please feel free to comment down below. I love hearing you guys' suggestions and comments. If you guys feel like I earned it, I'd really appreciate it if you guys hit that subscribe button or like this video, share it with your friends. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.